Welcome everybody to another episode of All Access Gaming Entertainment. As always, I have my fellow agents here: Porterak,
What's up?
Bruce,
Hello.
Jessica,
Hello again.
and Silent Clutch.
Uh,
All right,
What is he saying?
he's
I
saying
feel
sup.
like you. I think like you. I feel like Jess nicked my hello. She just added the again to it.
Alright, this this episode is gonna touch up on a subject that's been on YouTube and around the gaming community for a while. We're talking about DirectX 12. What is it? What does it mean for the console? And is it something groundbreaking for the Xbox to try to pull ahead of the console war that is Microsoft versus Sony? Um, to give you a little bit of info on this, we're gonna kick it over to Porterak, and he's gonna shine some light on the subject. So, Porterak, what does this mean? What is DirectX 12? Let's start there. What is DirectX 12? If you could give us a little bit of history on it.
All right. So, just to make it simple, DirectX is just a collection of just programs to handle different aspects of multimedia. For example, let me give you a couple of examples here. Um, we could be talking about direct music, which handles the music aspects of games or media. Direct 2D, which handles 2D graphics. Direct 3D, which handles 3D graphics. Direct compute, which handles the programming for using like your video cards. So it's just a collection of different specific programs to handle certain things in gaming or multimedia. The reason why they go with the term DirectX because it's a complete collection. So just like math, X is the unknown. So it's DirectX, which means it's a tool set of all these different aspects, especially when it comes to making games. In fact, that's the reason why they named the Xbox, because the X part is the DirectX programming behind it. All right, so that's pretty much the simple. So when you think of DirectX, just think of the tools that developer use when it comes to sound, graphics, physics, and all that stuff, 2D, 3D, all that stuff. That's pretty much DirectX in a nutshell. Every generation they come up with a new iteration of DirectX, and that's just to take advantage of the latest hardware. It all goes back to DirectX 1. Currently, right now, we're at DirectX 11.2. Now they're going to be pushing with Windows 10 DirectX 12, and the Xbox will now be using DirectX 12 starting the holiday. So starting the holidays, I think developers will start making Xbox One games with DirectX 12.
Okay. Now, so see, that's something I didn't know. I mean, I didn't really know what DirectX was. I didn't know what it meant. And we had a conversation a while back, and you started explaining it to me, and then that's when the little aha, okay, now I get it, light bulb clicked over my head. Now, what does DirectX 12? Now that we know a little bit about it, what does it mean for the Xbox console?
So right now, Microsoft is touting that it'll make the components that the Xbox One have, it'll be 50% to 70% more efficient. So that means it should be easier for developers to make games and get the most out of games. Right now, the Xbox One uses DirectX 11, and supposedly it doesn't use all the features that the hardware features that the Xbox One has to make things better is not being used, fully utilized.
Okay.
Some people may ask, why is that? This is all speculation, but rumor has it that Xbox had to release the Xbox One earlier than planned. February 2013 is when Sony had their PS4 unveiling, and then they told the world, hey, PS4 is unveiling this year. Rumor has it Microsoft wasn't planning to release their console till 2014, but they didn't want to launch a year after the PS4. So they did a little hurry up. They unveiled their system in May, and then they launched in 2013 using mostly DirectX 11 programming, when the Xbox should have been more closer to DirectX 12. So it was a risk they had to use because they just didn't want to wait a year till they launched their console. They were afraid of that. So a lot of games, if you like recently, like when Xbox launched, like right now, Call of Duty, it's 720p, 60 frames, while on the PS4 it's 1080p 60 frames. So there's a lot of games that are higher resolution and faster frames than the Xbox One version, and a lot of people think it's because of DirectX 11 holding the system back.
Okay, so that's good. That's good then. So then you're saying that when they release DirectX 12, then the console is going to be performing at where it was supposed to be performing when it was supposed to release and the date it was supposed to release. Now that's good because see, as for some people, there's certain games out there that drive them to buy a console. For me, it's Gears of War. I'm a big Gears of War fan. Love the franchise. Played 1, 2, 3, Judgment. I played them all. So when Gears of War, the next Gears of War comes out, Gears of War 4, that's going to be the game that's going to drive me to buy the Xbox One. And I hope that DirectX 12, makes the system better, perform at where it's supposed to be performing, because I would want to experience Gears of War at its full potential. Definitely would love to, because that game is amazing. The game it's good. It has the cover system, the meleeing system on it. It was good. It was really good. The story wise as well. Now, is DirectX 12, in your opinion, is it gonna be enough to make the console the most powerful console on the market?
I don't think so, simply because DirectX 12 is only going to do what the hardware has in the first place. For PC, it's going to be amazing because PC always comes out with new hardware every year, new video cards, new CPUs, chips. So DirectX 12 is going to take advantage. Xbox is already Xbox. The console is what it is. So what DirectX 12 should do for the console is make it the very best version of the Xbox One. But Microsoft went with its hardware design, is locked in place. So you're going to get the best version of Xbox One, but it's not going to miraculously become a new system, ultra powerful. It's just going to be a better version of itself. And I think that's where the confusion's at. People think that when DirectX 12 hits Xbox One, it's going to be a whole new console with amazing power, and it's going to do 4K gaming at 100. It's going to do all this crazy shit. It's not. It's just going to be a more efficient, better version of itself. Simply because Microsoft went with what it went. And this is where the fanboy argument between Xbox and PS4 comes into play. The main core component of a video game is its GPU, its graphics card. Microsoft went with a weaker graphics card as compared to Sony. So it is what it is. Microsoft's with DirectX 12, you're going to get the most out of it, but you're not going to get anything more than its full potential, And obviously Sony's going to do the same thing with its PS4. They use a different application. It's called OpenGL. But they're going to make the best, out of their hardware. So really, in the end, Xbox gamers are going to get a better system, more efficient. It's going to get more power. It's going to utilize more tools. But if they're expecting the Xbox to jump ahead and now become the most powerful console on the market, that most likely won't happen. The hardware is what it is. You can only get the most of what it potentially could do, which is what DirectX is going to allow it. But it's not going to miraculously give it magical powers or, a buff. It's not an RPG. You're not going to get a buff and be like, oh, no, it's just the hardware. It is what it is. And I think that's what's making things difficult for people to understand.
Yeah. People are always, when it comes down to the console war, people are always going to bump heads when it comes to that. Hopefully this information that, you were most kindly to shed upon everybody will kind of like clarify the murky waters when it comes to DirectX 12 and the whole mystery behind it. Because I certainly learned a lot, because I really didn't know that much about it. And when we had that conversation with you, I was like, thank you, because it really clarified the situation when it comes to that. And to be honest, I'm looking forward to DirectX 12 on the Xbox, because I do want to play. When I finally get the console, I want that console to be at its 100% fullest, so I can experience the games to where they're supposed to be experienced. Does anybody else want to shed some light on this, or give your opinion on it? And did you learn something from it?
Well, I had no idea what DirectX 12 was. I searched it for ages and didn't find out what it was.
Yeah, it was very hard to do research on it, because especially on YouTube, it is very fanboy based. Like everybody who was giving information on the subject was it was very fanboys. Oh, this is gonna be the game changer. This and that, and it really wasn't based on facts. It was based on more emotion and their love for the console based on facts. And Mortarok, being his tech savvy self and knowing about these things, and just he clarified the software for me. All right, then that's gonna conclude our podcast. Well, that's gonna conclude our episode for today. This episode was pretty much just to clarify clarify the whole DirectX 12 issue, especially when E3 is right around the corner. We're gonna have some more episodes based on E3 and our predictions of what we think the developers are going to bring to the show, to the conference. As always, please subscribe down below. All our social media information is going to be down in the description. Follow us on our Twitter, on our Facebook, and as always, thanks for watching. Later, agents.
Bye.
Deuces.